YOLO learning, guys. So welcome to the level 1 stage 2 transformation. This is another example or another stage that you may want to conquer in order for you to proceed to the final stage of level 3. So this one now is slightly different from the previous stage, where instead of using the function notation, it actually uses the actual function. In this case, it's the radical function, which is the square root of the x. So in this case, it says find all transformations from f at x to g at x if f at x equals the square root of the x and g at x equals the square root of negative 2x minus 2 minus 3. So let's then take a look at this one. Now, as you can see from the actual function, negative 2 in front of the x is not factored out. So make sure you factor that out all the time. That's the first thing that you have to check. Okay, remember the consequence of not doing so will then give you the wrong c value. So I just rewrite the g at x over here to factor the negative 2 out. So factor negative 2 out, do not touch anything else, just the inside only. Then negative 2 x plus 1. Remember, when you factor out, you're basically factoring whatever that number in front of the x. It doesn't really matter whether it is a common factor or not. Okay, you just factor that out like the completing the square. Now then minus 3 is not affected by it, so then it stays. So then the next step for us to identify the transformations, we have to deal with A, B, C, and D. So in this case, A, we do not have anything in front of the whole function in this case. In this case, the whole function is the square root, so we just look at the outside of the square root for the A and D. So if there's no number, remember that it's not 0, it is just 1. Now for the B is then negative 2, which is the one in front of the x. Then C is negative 1. Remember, we have to compare x plus 1 to x minus c, which is the generic form. So x and x, plus and minus. Oh, that's plus and minus. They're not the same. They're the opposite. So the numbers must be opposite sign as well. Then once you have that, the D is what's outside at the end, so that is negative 3. So by doing this, then we can actually take a look at our actual transformation. I will actually move this down a little more so that I have a little more room to it. So for the A being 1, then there is no transformation done. There is no transformation in A. Then the B being negative 2, it has two different transformations. The negative then gives me horizontal reflection on the y-axis, and that means if you have the y-axis over there, your function, let's say I don't know what it is, but your function then rotates sideways that way, and then it goes the other way around. Okay, then the next one is horizontal. Now it is bigger than 1, right? The 2 is bigger than 1, so horizontal compression by a factor of. Now remember, this is 1 over. Remember, this is reciprocal, right? So then it is 1 over by a factor of 1 over 2. Now next one is negative 1, and that means it is horizontal translation. Remember what's inside. What's inside of the function itself always deals with the horizontal way. So horizontal translation will is by 1 unit to the negative. It says negative 1, so to the left. Now the next one is then vertical translation, 3 units down, since it's negative 3. So then what we have to do is then we have to take care of the mapping in order for us to draw or to sketch the graph. Now then, since we know that our A and the D affects the vertical way, which is the y value, and then our B and C affects the horizontal one, which is the x. So let's actually figure this out. Now then for the x, we have negative 2 as the b value, and then by a factor of 1 over 2. So remember, by a factor of means you're multiplying, so then it will be negative 1 over 2 times the x value, and then plus the c, since you're just moving it, and then this case is negative 1, so minus 1. Same thing for the y. Now y is 1, sorry, no, a is 1, sorry, and then y is whatever the value, so then it is just 1 times y. Just be really careful, do not put 0 times y, because that means 0 all the time. Okay, now then the d is then negative 3, so minus 3. So then the rest is just plotting the points according to your given function. Now, this is a radical. It depends on how your teacher teaches in the classroom, but in my classroom, the radical functions points are 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3. And if you are wondering why it is not going up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, the reason is these 0, 1, 4, 9 can give you a nice whole number as the result. If you actually go through this, you have negative 1 over 2 times 0 minus 1, comma, 1 times 0 minus 3. And that's basically negative 1, comma, negative 3. Then the rest you basically calculate it and see what happens, okay? And then see what happens. And this one should be done properly, very carefully. So then next one is negative 1.5, comma, negative 2. And the one after that is the negative 3, comma, negative 1. Now you can simply use your calculator to do this job, and it should be very fairly simple and easy to do. Now the next one is the negative 5.5, comma, 0. So we're done calculating these. I'm just going to change the color of our coordinate.
The new one, so that we can actually distinguish from the previous one. So here's the green color that I'm going to change it to, and then this one as well. I'll change this one too.
Now, once you plot these, they should look like this over there. So the blue one is our original, then the green one is our transform. So be really careful with these type of things. Now, then the last couple of things that I want you to be careful of is B must be factored out to get the proper C, and A equals 1 or B equals 1 does not affect any transformations. So when you see no number for the B or A, doesn't mean they are 0, they are 1. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I will see you guys proceed to the stage 3 of the level 1, which is the final boss of level 1. Okay? Alright, bye guys. Thanks for watching.